Nope.
No.
Nope.
They're
Nope.
going to
No, my brother and my brother Aaron is going. They're going for Shabbat, whatever, till I think Sunday night. Oh, so let's see. I think we're up to La'ilam Yargal Adam Atzma, yeah? In the Musar, not in the Daf, if anybody's going, in the Musar.
Yeah.
I've been yoming. Okay, La'ilam Yargal Adam Atzma. A person should make himself used to Shelo Yasa Dover Shechaverim Ispayish Loimar Loi. Meaning, don't do anything that your friend would be embarrassed to tell you not to do. Now, this is not Musar. This is Bein Adam L'Chaveiroi Musar now, not Bein Adam L'Makom. Meaning, don't do anything that your friend will tell you not to do. For what? Going Adam Sheyesh Dvar Seiser. Let's say somebody has a private thing. And his friend comes in, and the friend is embarrassed to tell you to leave. Right? Meaning you see your friends in the middle of a meeting. Yeah, you do this sometimes. The guys, you see a guy talking over and shul, you walk over, totally, oblivious. And the guy's too embarrassed to tell you to get out of here. I'm pitching this guy for a job or for I'm trying to give him a kickback or whatever. And now he's too embarrassed to tell you to get out of there. So that you shouldn't do. Right?
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
They bring that's why somebody shouldn't talk in the middle of davening. It's the same example that they bring. If someone's talking to Hashem, like you're saying, having a meeting with Hashem, and if another guy comes in, he starts talking to him. How it's the same example that you just said. That's what they bring in the Musa Svarim.
Oh yeah.
Someone's talking to Hashem, he's davening, and somebody comes over to him in the middle of this conversation, and he says, "Hey, I got to tell you something. The Mets won."
That's interesting.
Talk with yeah.
That's interesting. That's an interesting thing. You're talking to Hashem, and you're very good, very good. Okay, then he says, "Oi." She's achsein bebeis chaver, right? Or he's staying in his friend's house. For whom it's starbezeh. No, I'm sorry. Somebody's staying in. You're staying in your friend's house, and you overstay your welcome, as they say, right? And your friend is embarrassed to tell you to leave. Or you read your friend's mail, right? And your friend is too embarrassed to say not to read it, right? Which, by the way, everybody thinks it's Chana Rabbeinu Gershom not to read somebody else's mail. It's halacha and Shulchan Aruch. I mean, not that Rabbeinu Gershom was before Shulchan Aruch, I'm saying, but it's a halacha. You're not allowed to read somebody else's mail. Rabbeinu Gershom came and put a chayrim on you if you read your friend's mail, right? Meaning, even if Rabbeinu Gershom wouldn't have come along, reading your friend's mail would still be asur. It's just there would be no chayrim. Right, so there's somebody who's looking over your shoulder. If you're looking over your friend's shoulder, reading mail, and he's too embarrassed to tell you not to do it, so then that you can't do. Right, so okay, and then anything similar to that, one shouldn't do. Yeah, okay. I guess there's enough fellows on now, so yeah.
What's the threshold of people that we need to start with that?
No, really a minion. No, normally we start Musar for 8:43, and then it goes over 2-3 minutes more, and then. But since I was late,
saying that's the level of annoying somebody is reading someone's mail. That's the threshold.
No.
Why they bring that?
Binyamin was asking what the threshold is to start the daf.
No. What I'm saying is, why they bring that as a proof? I mean, why are they bringing that as example?
What do you mean? Because you might read somebody's mail, and the guy's too embarrassed to tell you not to read his mail. I mean, this is a fairly common thing.
It's a very common thing. Overstaying your welcome is a common thing. Reading somebody's mail is a common thing.
No, but that's one of the examples. Back then, I guess it was common. I'm not saying it's common now.
Oh.
I'm saying it's a common thing for people to step on other people's toes and they're too embarrassed to tell them to stop.
When they were chiseling the mail in Iraq, it was very easy to read people's mail. They had a big thing to carry around like this. Oh,
It wasn't written when you were younger. Where this is before that.
Naftali, it's uncommon to read mail. I love reading
Somebody else's mail.
I love reading other people's mail.
It says on the top, unlawful to open someone's mail. Why would I do that?
And if you're sitting next to someone in a restaurant and he pulls out his phone and reads a text message and you look over,
Okay, that may be more common.
yeah, same thing.
Okay, yeah, so that would be the same. That would be the same. Right? Yeah, what else? What other would be a common example? Reading somebody's email? I don't know if anybody have access to email.
What's with reading? There's so many examples of people stepping on other people's toes and too embarrassed to say it. Eating their food, or I don't know, smoking their cigars without you knowing.
No, that's stalking.
That's stealing.
That's not. He's not talking about that. He's talking about where you are, where you came to your friend's house with permission and you overstayed your welcome. That's all.
Right.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. We now overstayed our welcome with the daf. So with the musr. So let's start the daf.
Yeah, man, it might take 2 or 3 days.
Okay. So Eza cotton. Yeah, that's what we're up to. Bottom line on what do you call it? On the hammer base. Yeah, Ezu cotton. So we had a machlokes. What a cotton is, right? How you define a cotton? So that if the one shot was that it's if he can't go on his father's shoulders, right? That was Shitas Beis Hamikdash. But Hillel said that it's if he can't walk, holding his hand. So masculine of Zera, and now we start tonight's stuff for parrots. Yeah, ad hacha man asya. So and who brought him to Yerushalayim? Right, meaning this kid has to be of a certain age to travel. So who got him to Yerushalayim? We were talking about going from Yerushalayim to up to the Har Bais, right? Who got him to Yerushalayim? Till here, his mother is mechayiv him, is chayiv in simcha. So the mother, but she doesn't have to go up to the Har Bais. She could just go up to Yerushalayim and then she gets ita korbanos. So his mother brings him. Mikan ve'elach.
Why are they assuming that he doesn't live in Yerushalayim?
No, but there has to be kids that come. There are, but the most of klal Yisroel, I don't know most, but probably a majority of klal Yisroel is not in Yerushalayim. So the assumption is some of these kids are going to be coming, right?
Okay.
That's So mikan ve'elech, from there, from Yerushalayim and on, if he could hold on to his father's hands and walk up the hill to the Har Bayis chayiv, then he's chayiv. And if not, then he's potter. Yeah. So we're saying that the mother brings him. So Heishav Rebbe Tachas Beis Hillel de Rebbe Shamai. So Rebbe answered for Beis Hillel to what Beis Shammai said.
It's a very vague rule because we know that some kids walk at certain ages and some kids, get therapy and not walk until what he called it. So how do you determine that?
Right, so that's exactly it. It's every age of chinuch, depending on what the mitzvah is, right, has a different, like we said by Lulav and Esrog in Sukkah, we said that the kid has to know how to do the nanuah, right? He has to know how to do the shaking. If he doesn't know how to do the shaking, he's potter from chinuch of Lulav and Esrog. So that could be also one kid who could walk really fast may not know how to do the nanuim at all. So he would be potter from lulav and chayiv in the regel. And another kid who can't walk, but he knows how to shoot. So there's different levels of chinuch based on each kid's what's the word? I don't know. There's a word for that. Their mental something. Yeah.
Maturity.
I guess maturity, but no, because you can have maturity in one and not an immaturity in the other.
Right. So it's not a cookie cutter blanket rule.
Correct. That's why these kids couldn't go to school because they're not in the cookie cutter. You know what I mean? Schools nowadays are cookie cutters. That's what. Yeah. Fine. If you don't fit the mold, then yeah. Right. Okay.
That's only certain communities.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so hey, Rebbe.
Yeah, convince yourself.
There you go. All right. So anyways, so hey, Rebbe Tachas Hillel Divrei Beis Shamai. So Rebbe answered for Beis Hillel to Beis Shamai, v'Chana loy also, right? And Chana did not go. Now this is not talking about yerushalyim because this is before yerushalyim. So this is talking about to the Mishkan Shiloi, right? So she didn't go with Shmuel. Ki Amr leisha, because she told her husband. Isha here means her husband. Ad yigam alanar b'Avi Yosef. Once there's ad yigam alanar, till he's Rashi says after 24 months when he's he no longer nurses, right? He's weaned, right? He's weaned. Then he'll bring him. For Shmuel the Yachal Lirkav Aksefer Shel Aviv Hava, Shmuel was able to ride on his father's shoulder. Yeah, which is very interesting, meaning he was able to ride on the shoulder, but he was not able to hold his father's hand. Right, so here you see that there's an epis in age. See, Taisus, the second Taisus down, Taisus says he Shahaya Gadol Kitzas. I don't know how Taisus knows that, right? But he was a little bit, he was a little big, so he was able to sit on the shoulder. He could not, he wasn't good enough to hold his father's hand and walk. So he's saying, so it's mashma like Beis Hillel, right? I'm sorry, it's mashma, right? It's mashma like Beis Hillel because Chana he didn't go up, right? So according to Beis Shammai, he had to go up because he could sit on the shoulders. So Amarle Avua, so his father told him, right? Because this was Rebbe, so his father told him, his father was Rabbi Gamliel. What about Chana herself? Why didn't she have to go up to the Mishkan Shila? Or to Shila? Wasn't she chayiv in simcha? So how come she didn't go? So Chana saw that he was an extra mafunik, right? And she was worried that it's going to be too long a trip for Shmuel, so therefore she didn't go.
So she's pater from the mitzvah of Machlokes because of her son?
That's what comes out. Yes, I would imagine she's Isaac with mitzvah.
Is she mechuyev to find somebody else to do something? Like if you're mechuyev in a
mitzvah, to get a babysitter.
Yeah, they were wealthy.
We said a couple of days ago that there was mash in the Gemara that you're not mechuyev to get a guy, right? Because where's the babysitter? All the from people have to go up to Ali Laregel. I think Naftali Liner had said that, right? They all have to go up to that. Everybody has to go up to Ali Laregel. So what? You're not mechuyev to get a guy. That's what we had said. Somebody had said that, I forgot which of them mafarshim. So, but yeah, it's clear here that her job, her main job is to be a mother. Now, how she knew he was such a mafunik at the age of 2, I have no idea. How do you know your kid is such a mafunik? I mean, wasn't like he was going to walk, right? Taisa said he wasn't walking, so I guess even traveling in a carriage could have wiped him out. Yeah. Okay. So let's see.
It's not necessarily that it's mevatel the mitzvah of Shalmei Simcha. I mean, the mitzvah Shalmei Simcha was samach b'chagech.
Right.
But Gemara says on Ches and Aleph that we call Simcha, we call Malkim. The Maisa, the mitzvah saseh of Simcha, she could have still been yotz at home.
Well, if
then why did the Gemara say lo tamid according to that?
I think he means the shayla. Doesn't he mean the korban simcha here? The korban, the meat, specifically.
Yeah, but that's what the Gemara says on Ches. No, when you can't bring the korban, there's still the samach b'chagefa. There's still the same mitzvah without the shlam.
Right. I hear. Yeah, okay, but I saw. But I must be. It's talking about. He must be referring to that part of the simcha. That's why I understood it.
No, he is. I'm just saying. Akiva asked that she had a mitzvah of shalmei simcha.
Right.
Your answer was that it's because she had something. It's mevatel the mitzvah. It's not necessarily mevatel the mitzvah.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay, good, fine. So now, by Reb Shimon asked the shaila, Katan chiger l'divrei Beis Shammai. A katan who is limp, according to Beis Shammai, right? Because according to Beis Shammai, according to Beis Hillel, it's pashut that he doesn't have to go. According to Beis Shamai, maybe he does have to go because he can ride a cotton that has a problem with his foot. He can ride on his father's shoulders. And assume what about a blind person? According to both of them, there is a blind kid. Is he mechuyev to go up? So the Gemara asks, "Hey, what's the case? They ever talk about a chigar who will not be getting better, right? Meaning Rashi says forever. Seems to be that it's just he is going to be lame forever. And it's somebody blind who seems like he will never recover from that. Sahashta. Gadol potter, cotton mibai. If a gadol is potter, does a cotton need chinuch for that? So Gemara says, like must be talking about a chigar, a kid who's lame in one leg, but it could get better. And a summa sheyachol and it's a summa, and who can theoretically recover from it. So what's the din then? Do they have a chi of chinuch? Because right now, if they would be adults, the lumdus here is right now, if they would be adults, they'd be potter. But eventually, they're gonna get better. So if they're gonna get better, so then is there a chi of chinuch now for them or not? Right? There's a lot of yeshivish raid on this shaila. There's a lot of lumdus shaila here because eventually they're gonna be gedolim and be chaya, but right now they're not chaya. So there's their chiyuv chinuch. Some rabaya, kolech the gadol mechayv b'daraisa. When the gadol would be chayv from the Torah, katan nami mechan chalem b'darabanon. So then there's a darabanon that the katan needs chinuch. Kolech the gadol potter b'daraisa, where the gadol is potter in this case, with the rabbanon, katan nami potter. So then in the rabbanon, the katan's also potter, right? So he's saying since right now if he would be a gadol, he'd be potter. So right now he's potter. He's a cotton, so he's potter. Right? Yeah. Fine. Yeah. So he said it's a Machlokes of Shamai Basil.
How is that an answer? I don't get how that's an answer to the question.
You mean it sounds like it's really just part of the Shiloh.
Yeah, he's making a rule, but I don't get how that was like
it seems like in the Gemara's Havamina, the Gemara wasn't thinking that was an option. I think the way we explained the Havamina, we were sort of explaining the teretz. But it seems like in the Gemara's Havamina, the Gemara was thinking that since there's a potential to get better, so then he might have a chiyuv chinuch right now. And then we're saying, no, you have to look at him right now the way he is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? So you look at him the way he is right now. If he would be a gadol, he wouldn't be chayiv. I think so. Anyway, so Beis Shammai and Maria Shtei Kesef, Chagigah's Mal Kesef, and Beis Hillel says the opposite. So Tanabana Beis Shammai says a riyah Shtei Kesef. The riyah, korban riyah needs 2 silver coins for Chagigah Mal Kesef, and the Chagigah needs 1 coin. Why? Riyah Oila Kul Legavaya. The korban riyah is going totally up onto the korban, right? And the oila is totally burnt on the mizbeach. Nobody eats anything from it. Mashenga b'Chagigah. The Chagigah people eat. Right? So an oila, since an oila goes totally to Hashem, so you should spend more money on Hashem than spend money on yourself. That's one reason. We see by Shavuos, that there are more korban oilas than there are korban shlamim. So you see that a korban oila is more chashuv. So therefore, Beis Shammai is saying that your korban oila should be more money than.
What about Pesach and Sukkot? Are they more oilers or shlamims?
I wish I knew offhand.
Okay, fine.
You're saying why you dafka asking from Shavuos?
Yeah, I would say from the kasha, I would say that there's more shlamims on Pesach and Sukkot. And they're just trying to sneak that in there. Well,
the korban Pesach is a shlamim. The korban Pesach is a shlamim. That's true.
Right.
But that's and then the other korbanos are the standard. No.
So you see, from two of the 3 regalim, you have more shlamim. So why are they asking a kasha from Shavuos for?
No, because there's a lot. I'm not so sure that's correct. I think on the korban, Rashi says here. Where is it? Shivas kvasim tamimim par ben bakar echad ve'elim shnayim yu oila Hashem. Right, so there's 7 kvasim and a par and 2 goats. Those are all oilas.
Right.
And then there's 2 kvasim b'nei shana for the shlamim. So that's way more.
Yeah.
Pesach, you're right. Pesach is on one more shlamim. Sukkos, all those parim are what? Oilas? They're all oilas? So then for sure it outweighs it. But then the question is, I know, but so then why are you not asking from Sukkos? So because because Gzeira Shava from Atzeres. That's
I don't
know if it's Gzeira Shava. No, it's not Gzeira Shava. I take it back. What?
Dive, you bring Michael me. The's no slums on the shruas because everybody's milking from the cheesecake. You bring Michael me that I said that.
Why did he need mechila for that?
For because Dive's a fleishik man. I hear.
Even by Kiddush, Shuas morning?
The last time he was milchus was 1978. Was Shvu was 1978. The last time he was milchus.
Okay. Even Kiddush?
Kiddush we have Kiddush.
All right. So I'm saying with cheesecake or with
no, he eats kishka by Kiddush. I could be made.
Okay. All right. He's fine. Anyways, okay, so those are the 2 reasons. 1, because there's more olas on Shavuos, and 2, because since it's being eaten totally by the Beis Hamikdash, so memela by the mizbeach, so therefore it should be more expensive. Beis Hillel Har riyah ma kesef, Chagigah shtei kesef, Chagigah yeshna l'fnei adibur. So the korban Chagigah was before Har Sinai. They were bringing korban Chagigah. Masha'enkin riyah was only later. So he has more chashivas. By the Nesiyim, they brought shlamim more than oilas, so therefore you see the korban shlamim is more chashiv. So a chagigah is a korban shlamim. So therefore that should be the more expensive one. So now we go back and forth. Beis Hillel my time Shamai. Why does Beis Hillel not say like Beis Shamai? 2 reasons. The Kamrit riyah adifa da'ila kula l'gavaya. You're saying that the riyah is better. Beis Shammai is saying the riyah is better because it's totally consumed by the mizbeach. Adarab. Chagigah adifa, the chagigah is better. The ispa shtei achilas, because it has 2 achilas, meaning the mizbeach eats some of it and people eat. So that's 2 different. You should have more expensive because people are sharing it. With the kamer neilach me atzeres, and you're gonna say learn it out from atzeres where there's more korban oilas. And memela oil is more chashuv. Don and korban yachid, mi korban yachid. We're going to don a korban yachid from a korban yachid, which is from the Nesiyim, because those were private korbanos. Each nasi brought his own korban. They ain't don and korban yachid, mi korban tzibur. We don't don a private korban from a public korbanos, which is atzeres. Shvuas korbanos are public. Okay, so that's why Beis Hillel does not say like Beis Shammai. Well, Beis Shammai, my time loy amri ke Beis Hillel. And why doesn't Beis Shammai say like Beis Hillel? The Kamir Chagigah difa. You're going to say Chagigah is better. The yeshna l'fnei adibur because it's before the dibur. Riyah nami yeshna l'fnei adibur. Riyah is also before the dibur because they well, we're going to see later exactly what this means. Because they also brought korban olas in the midbar. With the Kamir neilach min Nesiyim, and you say learning out from Nesiyim, don and davar. We'd rather learn out something that's going to be for many generations from something else that's going to be many generations. Meaning, the olas riyah is going to be every generation, and so is Shavuos. But Nesiyim is not any generation. Nesiyim was a one-shot deal, right? When by Chanukah Sam is Be'ach, that's when the Nesiyim each brought. But that was a one shot. We're not going to learn out something that's naik for doiris and something that's not naik with doiris. Yeah, fine, okay. So that's why Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai don't say like each other. Beis Hillel ma'ishno chagigah. So according to Beis Hillel, why chagigah the yeshna l'fnei adibur? We're saying that chagigah was before Har Sinai. Again, it's called dibur because that's when Hashem spoke to klal Yisroel. And they brought zvachim korbanos that were shlamim. Riyah nami haksiv yalu olas. It says they brought up olas, so you see that there were korban olas before Har Sinai. So Kasar Beis Hillel holds olas shekirul Yisroel midbar olas tamid havai. The olah that they were makriv klal Yisroel in the midbar was an olas tamid, not an olas, not an oila that's going to be not a regular oila that's going to be makriv totally up to the Beis to the meaning it was the regular olas tamid that they had to bring every single day, twice a day, once by mincha, once by shachris, once by mincha. So you can't learn out from that because that was just the steady korban that's going on. This we're referring to other korbanos that are not
Yaakov,
that are not as steady.
They brought korbanos before the Mishkan.
Yeah, so so that's going to be that we're going to have that machlokes coming up now. Exactly what was brought.
I understand random korbanos like the korban Pesach, but like the olas tamid I thought was shtelevek by the Beis Hamikdash. The tamid I thought was always just shtelevek by the Beis Hamikdash. I don't think it was something that they were doing consistently before then.
There were. So we're going to see that. We're going to see that.
Olas tamid Har Sinai. They said Har Sinai. Yeah, you say that.
Well, that's what we're talking about. I'm asking, like, it's not. I thought it was a Mishkan thing.
No, so we're going to see. We're going to see now. The rest of the Amud is going to be most of the rest of Amud Bais is going to be about not most, but a part of it. Yeah, half of it. So let's see.
And it was a korban keyboard.
What? Korban Tzibur? Somebody said. Who said?
I'm asking. It was a korban keyboard that wasn't brought in like a bama.
There was something by Har Sinai. Yes, that's going to be with the Machlokes. Yeah. What are you saying, Akiva?
It's just a curiosity because it's not like they were bringing these on private bamas. They built a mizbeach before this for communal korbanos.
Yes, we're going to see that. Let's see back. Well, Shamai Sami olas shekrivu Yisroel b'midbar olas riyah. The oila that they brought was an olas riyah. So it's a machlokes in the mitzias of what type of oila was brought in the midbar. Yeah. So Amar Abaye. So that's a machlokes b'Shamai Yisrael. Now the Gemara says Amar Abaye b'Shamai, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Shmuel, Kulu Svirulu. So all three hold oila shekrivu Yisroel b'midbar. That the oila that they were makar, klal Yisroel was makar in the midbar, oilas riyah havai. It was an oila of riyah. Beis Hillel, Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Yisrael Glili, Kulus Riulu, oila shekrivu Yisrael, the midbar, oilas tamid havai. It was an oilas tamid. So we have a machlokes 3 and 3. Of what we hold. Yeah. And now the kasha is that why is anybody going like Beis Shamai? We know you're not supposed to go like Beis Shamai. You're supposed to go like Beis Hillel. Right? So Teiku says, because they held that there was no machlokes Beis Shamai Beis Hillel in this thing. The second Teiku is up. Right? That the Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Lazar are holding that there's no machlokes Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel. Right?
I don't understand the kasha. What's the kasha of Teiku? The pashto dikra l'chayra is that it's a korban riyah. It came before Har Sinai. It's
good. So we're going to have the kashas back and forth, but the bottom line is they're going with Beis Shamai over going with Beis Hillel over Beis Hillel. That's all he's asking.
They can't learn their own pshat in the passuk. That's going like Beis Shamai. That's called.
I don't know. Teiku is not learning like that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's obviously. Otherwise, he wouldn't have his kasha.
Well, I don't.
What's it about?
I mean, I've never understood the whole thing with Beis Shamai Beis Hillel. That's a different thing. They came out the Sfara. They hold that's the Sfara. That's how they learned the sugya. What are they supposed to do? Jump off the building? Because it's not like Beis Hillel, so it's not like Beis Hillel. No, what are they supposed to do? That's how they learned the sugya.
I was even adding to that.
I know.
Learning the sugya.
I know.
It's not even
so they're
halachos.
agreeing already.
Shot in the passuk. Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you call it? I hear you, kasha. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so anyways, so it's a three-way machlokes. It's a two-way machlokes, 3 and 3. So Beis Shamai, second line of the bar. Beis Shamai hadamorim. Beis Shamai shita we already said. Rabbi Shmuel, the Tanya Rabbi Shmuel, and klal never b'Sinai. They said rules at Har Sinai, meaning it was just they didn't give any specifics. Hashem didn't give any specifics on tamid Bais. Upratas ba'ayal mayid, and then by the ayal mayid, then they gave all the specifics of what you're supposed to do. Rabbi Kiva, Aimer, Klal so protes never was Sinai. No, they said the rules and they said the specifics by Sinai. Benishnu by Amud, and they repeated it by Amud. Benishtalshu by Arbas Mayav. And then when they got to Arbas Mayav, then Moshe went over the halachos again. Midbar. And if you say that the midbar was an olas tamid, can it be? Could it be? Then in the beginning they didn't need to cut it up because they didn't know those halachos. Meaning a korban oila, there's nothing to cut up. You just put it onto the mizbeach and you burn it and finish. But a olas tamid, korban tamid, needs to be cut up. It needs hefshef v'nituach. You have to cut it up and all the different things, right? So if they never got the rules of it though until later, that means that the original korban tamids were not cut up because they didn't know of that halacha, right? And then once they learned the halachas by in the oil mayid and in Arbas Mayid, then they started cutting it up. So he's saying, that can't be. It can't be that they were bringing the korbanos incorrectly before. So therefore, it must be it was an olas riyah. It must be it was an olas riyah.
What's this kasha? We're talking about Hey Sivan. They haven't even had Matan Torah yet.
Right.
Why is it schwer that they didn't do Hefsher Nituach? They did, or they did. Who cares? They brought an oila out of their own thing. They knew to bring a korban tamid. They brought it. It was an oila. There was no Matan Torah yet. There was no tzivui to bring it.
Right. I hear. I'm saying, but don't you have to say that? You're saying because there was no Torah, but clearly we're trying to handle it like there was Torah.
Well, that's also a part of it. Even the klal is Nemru b'Sinai, that shita holds what was Matan Torah. What did they learn on Har Sinai?
Right.
But either way, we're talking about Hey Sivan here, not Ches. So Stamazay, there's no klalis either. At this point.
Okay, but so he's saying no. There must have been something. You're telling us to bring korbanos. You got to tell us how to bring it properly.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, once you're going there, when did Moshe Rabbeinu give the Sefer Torah? The Sefer Torah was written on Hey Sivan.
Yeah.
So it's a problem to say klalis. They had to have Shemini Tuach or not.
I don't know. Yeah, I hear. Okay, fine. Let's see, right. So that's how we know. That's how we know. Who was that? Rabbi Shmuel. Yeah, fine. Right. Rabbi Lazar. How do you know Rabbi Lazar? The Tanya olas tamid hasuya by Har Sinai. Right, Rebbeinu. That's what he's saying. The olas tamid that was brought by Har Sinai. So that sounds like that it was brought right. The korban tamid that was brought by Har Sinai. Rabbi Lazar, I know. Maseh nemru b'Sinai. Just the Maisa was said, what you're supposed to do. But he atzma like cover, but they didn't bring it. Right? So it was really an olas riyah, even though the passuk says it was an olas tamid. It was not. The olas tamid there just meant they're telling us about the olas tamid, but the olah that they're bringing up is a olas riyah. Fine. Rabbi Kiva Aimer karva b'shuv like passuk. Rabbi Kiva says no, they brought it up to korban tamid, and they never stopped. Elamani Mekayim Hasvachim Umincha Higashtam Liba Midbar Habarim Shana Bais Yisroel. Right? That they brought the korban mincha 40 years in Bais Yisroel. Right? Which sounds like that and not any other korbanos. So Shifta Shalevi Shalay of the way Zara Haina Krivu was that the Shifta Shalevi that were not over the Zara, they were able to be makar. Meaning we had this, I think, in my Cotton, that Hashem was not makabel any korbanos from the Yidden in the midbar for those 40 years because he was upset about the meraglim. Right? Not the meraglim. What's it called?
The eagle.
The eagle, I'm sorry, the eagle, yeah. But the eagle. So the memela, they didn't bring korbanos, but Levi, Shevet Levi was allowed to. Fine.
So what was it? Was it a korban tzibur?
Which one?
Was it still considered a korban tzibur even though it wasn't coming from 11 shvatim?
Oh, was it considered a? I don't know. Good question. I don't know.
Because
Yeah.
Hashem
Okay,
doesn't
so
want,
those are
they
the-
couldn't contribute, right?
That we had in Psakim also, no? Tzibur is relative. One Shevet is also called a Tzibur.
Oh, that was right. But was that a Lechatchila?
Yeah. I mean, it was a case of B'di'evad, but that was what Tzibur means.
Okay, interesting. I hear. Fine. Okay, let's see that. So those are the ones that say the olas riyah. Beis Hillel. Now going to the ones that say it was a tamid. Beis Hillel hal damar. We already said Beis Hillel. Rabbi Akiva hanami damar. We also said Rabbi Akiva, right? Because he was chaylik on Rabbi Lazar. Yeah, Rabbi Yosei Glili, the Tanya, Rabbi Yosei Glili, Aimer Shalish mitzvahs. It's Tava Yisroel by Lasim L'Regel. There are 3 mitzvahs that klal Yisroel has to do when they go up to Yerushalyim for Yom Tov, to the Beis Hamikdash. Riyah, b'chagigah, b'simcha. There's riyah, seeing, simcha, and the shlamim of the chagigah and the shlamim of the simcha. Yesh b'riyah shein b'shtein, v'yesh b'chagigah shein b'shtein, yesh b'simcha shein b'shtein. Each one has a milah that the other 2 don't have. Yesh b'riyah shein b'shtein, she'riyah ayla kula l'gavaya. The riyah is totally burnt on the mizbeach, so that's an advantage. The other 2 are not. The other 2 get eaten by humans. Yesh b'chagigah mashen b'shtein. The chagigah has that or something that the other 2 don't have. Shachagigah yeshna l'fnei adibur. The chagigah was before matan Torah. Mashen b'shtein. The other 2 were not. Yesh b'simcha mashen b'shtein. Shasimcha nehegas b'noshim u'v'noshim. That the simcha is by men and women, like we saw in Amud Aleph. And mashen b'shtein, that the other 2 are not. So whatever it is, you see that it was Rabbi Yosei Aglili holds that the Chagigah was by Har Sinai and not the riyah. So you see Beferish that he holds like Beis Hillel. Fine. Now the Gemara goes back and says Rabbi Shmuel was going like Beis Shamai, that it was an olas riyah. So Rabbi Shmuel, my time was like Beis Shamai. See here, you see what see Gershon out of Torah. Why is Rabbi Shmuel going like Beis Shamai? It sounds like Rabbi Aaron, he wasn't deciding it on his own. He was backing up Beis Shammai. That's from the Gemara's mashma from here, right? He's saying like Beis Shammai, right?
He's backing him up because that's how he learned the sugi, not because he gave him the contract to build a highway on Route 1. That's the.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But Lamaisi, you do see from the Gemara that that's how far it goes. You can't possibly like Beis Shammai. Sounds like the fact that you can't possibly like Beis Shammai means stay away.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I have no idea. I'm asking
okay,
you.
so
I don't know.
Say you don't know what it
asking.
means. Don't give me a.
So the Rashi.
You don't know
so
what it means.
Rashi really discusses it. Really, the Rashi to the left here, Rashi Haki Garcinon, really says, right? He's not V'lo Garcinon Omar Allah, which we don't have that. That's right. According to Abaye, we're asking that he says Beis Shammai Rabbi Shmuel. Why are you saying that Rabbi Shmuel is going not like the halacha? Because Beis Shammai Makom Beis Hillel is not a Mishnah, right? It seems like that's playing into the whole equation over here. That really Rabbi Shmuel should not be saying like Beis Shammai.
It's Yaakov. It could be that there's ideas that like that each one established to how they came to their conclusion, and these Rabbanim that came after Beis Shammai still were obviously coming much earlier than these other Tanaim, and they to go along with that line of reasoning was just it wasn't brought into Beis Medrash like that. Like they wouldn't go with that line of reasoning.
Right.
I mean, they had to go with a certain line of reasoning to come to the conclusion of how they darshan. And that line of reasoning should not have been allowed in the Beis Medrash because that's not, it was too authoritative. You have Beis Hillel Zahu.
I hear. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying clearly from the Gemara's lashon, it's mashal like you're saying. My time of kamuk mislei kibei Shamai. Right? Okay, it's a little confusing. Fine. So anyway, so if you're gonna think that it was olas tamid, like we said this before, is it possible? But Rabbi Yosef Glili, the Amar olas shekrivi yisrael midbar olas tamid havai. Rabbi Yosef Glili held that it was an olas tamid. May kar loy boy have shenit v'nituach. In the beginning, they didn't require it. It was like boy have shenituach. The time of Yosef Glili, Amar olas shekrivi yisrael midbar eina tuuna have shenituach. It didn't need to be cut up. So basically, what the Gemara seems to be asking, Rabbi Shmuel could have said the same thing as Rabbi Yosef Glili, which I can't understand. I can't necessarily say understand the question, because before we're saying no, he said mi gamidi, it can't be. So Rabbi Yosef Glili is saying no mi gamidi, meaning Rabbi Shmuel is saying it can't be that we changed korbanos. Like they told us to bring a korban, and then they told us a new way to bring the korban. He's saying that can't be. Rabbi Yosef Glili is saying it could be. In the beginning, you just bring it without cutting it up, and then later on, they told us to cut it up. So that's the Machlokes. Now we're saying, okay, Rabbi Shmuel, you could have gone to Rabbi Yosef Glili. And the reason why it seems like the Gemara is saying that is because now Rabbi Shmuel, if you go like Rabbi Yosef Glili, then you don't have to go like Beis Shammai. Right? Meaning, why are you saying your own pshat, and then therefore you're stuck saying like Beis Shammai, who we don't go with? Go with Rabbi Yosef Glili, and then you could go with Beis Hillel. Right? Okay. Which the Gemara then says, Rabbi Shmuel. So we erase Rabbi Shmuel from it. We erase him. Yeah.
I just thought before Kabbalah Torah, you see an oila does not get cut up. Because Avraham Avinu did not cut up Yitzchak. Otherwise, he would have cut Yitzchak up.
Yeah, but that's after the shechita. Yeah, but that's
no.
Yeah, but that's you cut it up after the shechita. No, it's after the shechita. The shechita.
Okay.
Yeah, so the hefshit v'nituach. Yeah, hefshit is the skinning, right? So skinning. So it would be after.
Fine.
Now you can say maybe he gave him right. You're supposed to give the animal to drink. Didn't we have that in Psachim, I don't know, somewhere that you give the animal water so that you can do the hefshit easier. So maybe he didn't give Yitzchak any water to drink. Does it say that anywhere in the title? So maybe that's.
The Medrash says maybe you could say the opposite. I mean, the same kind of question as Aaron, but the other way. The Medrash says v'lei chasachta. So Avram said to the Malach told him, don't check it. He said v'lei chasachta. Avram Avinu says, maybe I'll cut a little bit off. He said no to that also, but Itaka wanted to do the half-ship to Mituach.
Right. Okay, maybe. Okay, maybe. All right, but whatever it is. So now we're saying that Rabbi Shmuel should not be going. He should be going like Rabbi Yosef Glili. That they could have changed the requirements of the korbanos, and therefore he doesn't go like Beis Shammai, he can go like Beis Hillel, and that's taka. So we erase Rabbi Shmuel. So then it comes out that it's 4 against 2. 4 opinions that say that the oila that was brought in the midbar was the olas tamid, and 2 opinions that it was olas riyah. And then there's those that are goyrus on Amud Aleph that it's not Rebbe Lazar, it's Rebbe Eliezer, who was in Cherem anyways. Right? He was shmusi from that, because he went with Beis Shammai. So the minorities stuck with each other. That's what some say. Okay, so Boy Rav Chisda, Haikra Hechiksib. So this passuk, how do you read the passuk? It says Vayishlach. If anybody wants to learn how to be a Balkaira, this is a Gemara. Vayishlach is Nari b'nei Yisroel, and they sent out the kids from Klal Yisrael. Vayalu olas kvasim, and they brought up olas, and that were kvasim. They were lambs. V'yizbechu zvachim shlamim laHashem, and then they brought korbanos to Hashem parim. Is that how you read it? Meaning some were kvasim, right? Some were lambs and some were parim.
Kvasim is not the word of the passuk.
What? It's not in the
passuk. Is an extra
Correct.
word.
No,
only word is extra. Is kvasim. Yeah.
What do you mean extra? That's the Gemara.
The Gemara's word.
Right.
Is
The
kvasim,
pasuk says. The whole pasuk says. Where's the pasuk? Right. Vayishlach is nari b'nei Yisrael vayalu olos vayizbechu zvachim shalom l'Hashem parim. So the question is vayalu olos kama. What did they bring up? Kvasim. The word kvasim is not in the pasuk. And then vayizbechu zvachim shalom l'Hashem parim. So meaning, did they bring up kvasim and parim, or did they just bring up parim? So what is it? L'may nafkamina. Right. So now, what does that mean? L'may nafkamina. Right? So Tosfos says, "My dahava hava." We had this once way back there's never a machlokes about what happened unless it's negeya to something that we have to learn from it. But if it's just a machlokes in history that doesn't pertain to something for the future or now, then we don't care. I don't say we don't care, but that's not going to be a right. Yeah. So right. So it's with Yuma and Psachim. Yeah. So anyway, so that's what the Gemara means. Lamai nafkamina, whether they brought up kvasim or they. So Gemara says, Mazutra Amar the pisuk timing. You have to know how to do pisuk time. It means the trap. Beneginus, Rashi says, you have to know how to lane the passuk. Do you put it a comma there, which is called an asnachta, or do you not? Do you put from the other ones that it's not a revi or a whatever the other traps are? So that's one. No, it does have something. Because somebody says, somebody says, makes a neder, and he says, I'm going to bring an oila like the oila that they brought up in the midbar. Right? So now we have to know, well, what's the oila that they brought up? Parim hava or kvasim hava? Was it parim or was it lambs? Right? So it does have a nafkamina. It does make a difference for halacha, what exactly was brought up. Again, it's somewhere where a guy says, I'm going to bring an oila the way they brought it up in the Beis Hamikdash.
Why would that make it? How would that even be?
Not in the Beis Hamikdash, in the midbar. What?
How would that even be chalo? The oila was an oilas tamid.
Right. But he's just saying
you
whatever
can bring
animal.
a carbon seaboard?
No. He's saying whatever animal they brought up.
Beside the animal, even though the carbon's not negated.
Correct. No, he's not bringing an oilas tamid. No, he's saying whatever animal.
He's saying beside what the animal is.
Yeah. So whichever one they brought. So then there's enough community. So when it ends up, it says Teiku. So we don't know. So yeah. So that's it. Okay, we'll stop here. Tomorrow night I might have to do a little earlier. Actually, the next 2 nights. The next 2 nights I might have to do earlier, but I'll post it. Maybe 8. I don't know. I'll see. I'll let
okay.
Jesse will get a little bit more sleep.
Landau's going to be happy.
Yeah, Jesse's always starting up Landau there.
That's right.
Ridiculous. Why don't we do it 8 o'clock in the morning?
Why not? We do.
It's not going to affect Landau. He was here already this week.
Very good. 10 to 9 in the morning, Naftali.
Yeah.
You said you're not doing it.
Rather sleep.
No, I'm just saying a regular morning. He's saying why not do 8 o'clock?
All right, fine.
So
what time? You don't know yet?
I don't know because I'm going to
powers.
Florida.
The powers that be will post.
I'm going to Florida to visit my daughter. I'm going to Florida, so I don't know what's going to be going on. Where, when, how, what. So
your shark mask.
I can't find it.
Oh my god!
My mamish can't find it.
Gotta figure out something.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks.
All right. Good night, fellows.
Hey, Rabbi Stein, I have a perfect mask for you for the plane.
Yeah, what's that? Oh, great.
Oh no.
Jesse,
is that the laughing one?
I can see the New York Post.
This is the one that laughs, yes.
Oh my gosh.
They're not allowing. Last time I flew, they said no more of the bandanas and all that. It needs to be just your standard. Taka, I don't have a mask. I think I need to get a mask, Taka.
When are you flying?
Tomorrow morning at 10. I hope, if I make it there.
Where are you flying out of?
LaGuardia, my favorite terminal. Terminal A, LaGuardia Spirit.
Oh, I'm going 705 out of LaGuardia.
LaGuardia 705. I realized
I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to Chicago tomorrow.
The parking is going to cost me more than the plane tickets.
I hear
that. So whatever. What can you do?
Aaron, you coming to see me?
Where are you going?
I'm coming to see you. I'll be in Chicago for a total of 3 hours. Right.
Where are you going?
I have a meeting at 200 West Jackson downtown.
Hey.
Yeah, I hope you don't get delayed. You know, Chicago is delayed like the.
I know. And then from there, I'm going to Columbus. So,
Mamish, you the jet setter.
I don't know about that. I'm sure that's what I am.
Yeah. All right. Well, you should have a safe trip.
Yeah, you too.
What Teiku is Tosfos asking on Amud Aleph? If the Gemara asks around the base.
Maybe he's asking according to the Havamina.
Well, I mean, that is kind of what the Gemara is asking on Amud Bais. What's the Havamina? And the Maskana, it falls off. So there's no. What is the difference?
I hear you. Hello. Don't say you're asking. What is Taisus asking?
What is the? And he's answering it too. And according to the answer of Taisus, what is the Gemara doing here?
Maybe he's asking only on Rebbe Lazar.
Shavki is plural. Oh, sorry.
I hear. I don't know.
All right.
Let me stop the recording.